That sound on TikTok of Fawakula Watu Senseko. Kat Fawakumanya to Senseko. Milos Kekas, because let me tell you, if there's a club that has made me extremely happy during this period, it's been Liverpool. They promise, they deliver, no wasting time, everything is smooth. When you say the money, they just give you the money and things flow. No negotiating, until we shall come back next week. No, none of that. So Milos Kekas, yesterday I talked about him and mentioned he would be in Liverpool, and yes, he did go over there, land, and apparently he arrived at Liverpool's training ground, and he looks to complete the formalities of his £40 million move to the Premier League champions. So let's wait for an announcement very, very soon. I know you're tired of this Brian Bemo conversation, but we have to have it, unfortunately, because I feel like there's nothing that tells you a player loves a club as much as a player choosing that club over three clubs that would have offered him Champions League football. That shows you they've grown up wanting to play for this club. And that's the kind of loyal player you want. So anyway, Manchester United, I think for that reason, because he's still stuck on them, even though they were offering less money, they're now saying, okay, we're putting in another bid, because Brentford still rejected that money. And they were using that threshold of, if you could afford Thomas Cunha, £62.5 million, you can pay the same, within the same bracket for Brian Bemo. You can't offer us, because they're offering at first £55 million. That's 45 million plus 10 million in add-ons, which is quite little for Brian Bemo. So Brentford said, well, come back with another bid. Now they've made a much bigger bid, and let's just wait and see if the 60 million pounds that they're offering now will be accepted by Brentford. And then before long, you will see an announcement from Manchester United for Brian Bemo. And you might be excited about that. Let's wait and see.
I'll be excited if he plays well during the season. So.
Someone else that we haven't talked about in a long time, I'm sure you haven't even thought about him in a very long time, Oleksandr Zinchenko. Yeah, because obviously he's fallen out of favor at Arsenal, and we haven't thought about him in a long time. But now he could be available for about £10 million, and he signed in 2022 for £32 million. But obviously Mikel Arteta may not have so much use for him next season, so they might need some money from selling him. And there are clubs that are interested, but Fulham is in the conversation a lot, because they're very attracted to his experience, how versatile he is, and Arsenal are valuing him at around £12.7 million, but Fulham think that they can negotiate and get him for about £10 million. So yeah, but there are also many clubs that are still interested in him outside of England. There's AC Milan, there's Borussia Dortmund, there's Ajax. So he could go just anywhere, but as long as he makes some money for them. The funny thing is they'll still make that money, and they still negotiate for the players they want, and negotiate and
that's
beg.
the bad thing about Arsenal.
They're stingy. I'm not involved in, and I know how to make decisions. I'm not like us now. Anyway, your man Johnny Evans is apparently, because he obviously retired, but he's in advanced talks with Manchester United. Guess what? Over a staff role. He actually wants to be part of staff, and Man United also want to keep him at the club, and the agreement apparently is said to be in place for him to look after the loans of emerging talents. When they're emerging talents, they send them on loan, so he would be in charge of that, because the Les Parry, the person who was responsible for that, who was in that role, left the club last November and went to Saudi Arabia. So that could be a very good opportunity for Evans to stay in the club. To fill that role. Let's wait and see.